I got a comment saying that Flux required too much VRAM, so I ran some tests, and here is a low VRAM alternative to get photorealistic skin without the hardware requirements of Flux. We're going to be using the ComfyUI Impact Pack. You can install it right in the ComfyUI Manager menu, custom nodes, just search for it. We're basically going to start with their sample workflows, which you can find on their GitHub page under the test folder. And we're going to be using this one, Detailer Pipe Test SDXL. I'll open it here. Don't be too intimidated by this. What's going on here is the detailer uses two different models. So this is the model and clip text for the first one. This is the model and clip text for the second one. And they all kind of go into this one node. And then it loads an image in and adds detail to it. We also won't be using all of these nodes. This node isn't connected to anything. We can just disable it. The image runs into our face detailer node, which then goes into a regular detailer or a second face detailer. You can keep these if you want, but from what I found from my own experiments, the second face detailer usually doesn't do as well as the regular detailer. So for these purposes, I'm just gonna disable it. We're gonna take a image that we upload of a face and then add detail to it. You can use any image generator to create it. And what we want to do is enhance the skin details. So the first thing that we have to do is set the input prompt. So the heaviest weight on all of this is the input prompt. Right now, this is the default right here, but it might change based on whatever you have in your image. We could set this blip analyze to have it look at the image itself and kind of determine what it sees in this, and that will be our automatic prompt. It will require a blip model, so we'll just get the blip model loader. We can leave everything as default. So it'll generate a caption by itself, but if we want to see what that caption is, we can use this show text. And then what we'll do is use a text to conditioning node. This will require the clip to go into it. And we'll put that here. This conditioning node will replace the positive text input. So let's bypass this. So this blip analyze node will tell us what it thinks is in the initial image, which is this. We also want to be able to prompt for the details that we want to add into the image. So we'll just add another text box, and this will be where we add our details. And I'll combine these using a text combined. We can set both of the inputs to be node inputs. And I'll set this as text 1 and text 2, and then this will replace the text here. In this text box, put in the details you would like to see added. We'll also need to set this checkpoint. You can use any SDXL model. I'm going to use Epic Realism just because it's a realistic style. We can also set the checkpoint here as another SDXL. This is the second refiner model that goes into the pipe detailer. Let's use Juggernaut. The end of the workflow detailer node is also probably where you get most of the detail from. So I'm gonna increase the guide size a little bit. The higher res is usually better for this. So use as much as your machine can handle. 1024 or 1280 is fine. Just for the sake of showing the difference, I'm gonna put a 2056. We can reduce this step size by a little bit. Let's do 12. I'm gonna use the 2M STE sampler and the Caracas scheduler. And we can turn the denoise down to 0.1. So start with these settings. There is usually a good start. I'm gonna also add this image contrast adaptive sharpening in between. It helps bring out the detail that this creates. And then just for our own comparison, I'll use the image comparer from RG3, and this will have our new image and our original image, which is from the get node. Okay, let's run this. Okay, so here are our results. This is the original. And here's the after. I mean, immediately we can see that there's a much more realistic look to it. The first one almost looks kind of cartoony now. We have a lot of detail in her cheeks now, around her nose. It even kind of changed the lip shape, and her eyes look a little bit more natural. Well, let's do one more quick example. This is the original image I created out of DALL-E. Kind of as realistic as it gets in DALL-E. But when we run it through this setup, we get an even more dramatic update than the last one. I mean, her eyes changed color and we kind of lost that scar that was nice, but I actually think if we prompt the scar in, we would get that back. So let's see what happened in the prompt. Yeah, so the automatic text that generated based on this image didn't have a scar in the prompt. And I didn't have it in my custom text box where I only updated the detail. So that's probably why we lost the scar. But you can see that there is a huge detail update. Even without that scarring, her eyes, her skin, like around the cheeks, way more realistic. So I'm going to find a place to drop this workflow. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.